It's Rio. You haven't seen my contemporary picture in a while. I know I haven't recorded a video, and this video is actually going to go out to all students in this class. So at least the online students sometimes see me because I do a video for the attendance, but I decided to send this one out to everyone and just kind of give you the, lay of the land, what's heading at you, what you need to be thinking about, answer some questions that I get that I think would be a perfect time to answer it before what happens next for us in this class. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope life is treating you well, and I hope you're finding the focus and time to accomplish all that you hope to do. Many of you are doing great in this class. So some of you that are needing to get caught up heard from me actually this week. So I got some good conversation happening, so I'm excited about that regarding getting students caught up. So let's look at the topics that I'm going to cover for this one, for this video. So first thing I'm going to talk about is spring break. So spring break is coming up after, I had one of these, had it in here somewhere. Let's just go here. So spring break is coming up week after next. Okay, so we're heading into that time of the semester where you have a break if you need it. If you and actually, I'm guessing we all. I don't know if we need a break, but it's nice to have a break. So it's that time of the semester, right? So here's the week I'm recording in, and so next week we are off. So no attendance. Don't show up to campus. Nobody will be there. Well, somebody will be there, but this week is also the week many people find they can get caught up in the semester. So I hope if that's your situation that you find that that's true, that you can get caught up during that week. I also will say one of the things that happens, and I've noticed this, is after spring break, it's harder to get your head back in the school. So working some through spring break might be good just to help that momentum. But if you take a full break, good for you. Just get your head back in the game because after we get back, it goes pretty quickly. So keep that in mind as you're moving through what's going on. Okay, so the other thing is the My IT Lab. I wanted to tell you two things. First, thank you for doing the survey. We are looking at options or alternatives to My IT Lab. Much of your feedback I was a little surprised about. Most of you seem to have a really good experience with some glitchiness. So I was delighted to hear some of it, and I know some of you, especially on the Mac side, that's been a real issue. So thank you for the survey. If you haven't gotten a chance, I sent an email out a couple of days ago about that. So if you could fill that out sometime before or after, right after break, we'll be making that decision sometime after spring break. That would be really helpful. And I also wanted to report back to you that finally my IT lab got back to me about why the issue I'm having with the test banks, and really what that means to you is why you're seeing the chapter quizzes sometimes focus narrowly on one topic and sometimes focus on completely a different chapter, was because there was an issue with the way they had set up their test banks, and me reporting it helped them fix it. But now that they fixed it, it's too late in the semester for me to roll out that fix into this class. So thank you for your patience. Sorry for that issue, but hopefully, and it seems like a couple of you reported issues to me, but it seems like most of you navigated that totally fine. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. So the other thing is for the next couple weeks on Code Academy, speaking of that, you're going to have a chance to do an alternative assignment. And then on the third week after that, the data structures, you'll have to do that one. So for the next 2 weeks, you can do PowerPoint, My IT Lab assessment, and you can do that in lieu. You still need to do your poster print screen of your completed assessment. So in this case, the difference would be making sure you put it in the right directory, because normally you put those into shared with Rio, but in this case you would be sharing them with everyone if you're using them in lieu of the Code Academy. Okay, but I've noticed most of you, except for this last week when you had the loops, are having a pretty good experience with with Code Academy. So I'm happy to hear that. But I also will tell you, and I said this to the students in the classroom, so I'm just going to say it here as well, and I'm going to switch to a new tab. And on any tab, you can do this, right click, inspect, and this is developer tools. So if you ever take any of my other classes, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, you'll learn about this. But you go to, in here, you go to console. So right in here, you can actually write JavaScript. And so the reason I show you this, and I said on chat the other night that there's also something called JSBen that you can use as well. The reason I'm bringing these things up is that when you're writing code for loops and starting next week whiles and then control structures, if you write particular syntax issues in your code, that will lock it up. And some of you experience that. And what you're really locking up is you're locking up your tab. Typically not the whole browser, although maybe that's happening as well. But typically it's not the server. It's really just your particular browser. So I wanted to show you that that is a way to actually do JavaScript. And some of you are calling it Java, and I know it's semantics, but there is Java programming language and then there's JavaScript. So just know the difference. You're learning JavaScript, not that you have to go learn Java, but just know that there is a difference. Okay, so next 2 weeks, alternatives on the then I show you in the write-up, so just be reading carefully because then we come back to another week of Code Academy, and in that one I do not give an alternative for because I want you to learn data structures, really important. Okay, so this is a topic really that keeps coming back, so I want to make sure I've been clear about it. So late work. So you can do late work for this class, and everything is, and this is a weird word, but it is make upable. You can make up anything in this class. You just have a deadline when you can do it. So that's the first part of this. And you're going to hear me say this again because I might actually rerun week 17 from last semester, but if not, I think I have a discussion there as well. But late work is anything you turn in late and it's reduced 25%. Okay, so when you submit it, if you got, let's say you got 90% of the points, I reduce that by 25%. So anything that you submit late gets those late points taken off. Okay, so just let me be clear about that. And let me also be clear about something that I told the students in the classroom, just to be completely up and up. The one thing I actually don't take off late points on is chapter quizzes. And the reason is it's hard to do it in Canvas. It's almost impossible for me to take off 25%. I'd have to have number of questions and it'd just be a pain. So on a chapter quiz, if you do it late, I have most likely by the time you've taken it, I've already placed a 0 into your grade book. So you can go in there and then take the quiz, and then it will show in your grade book, I believe, the highest, the one you've achieved the highest grade score for. So as long as you've taken it even after it's late, you're okay as far as the score. But everything else you are discounted 25% on. So I just want to be clear first about that. And most of you have gotten this and you understand it. And so now this is not versus, probably what I should have said here is also, right, is that late points returned is now that we've taken off those late points on those points off for being late, you can get those points back. Okay, so let me just actually be clear, and that it's right here on the first item in our class. Okay, so by the way, if you're not on class chat, I recommend still. It's not too late. It is very helpful. I find that to be a great way to get support, especially on off hours when I'm not awake. But here's the sheet, right? So in this case, this is an example sheet. And what you'll need to do is go into your drive, go into the shared with Rio and create a new sheet. But this is an example of what I would want to have on the sheet, right? So this is the item that you completed that you're going to show me that you've completed it by doing the proof, right? So in this case, this is not the item you're submitting late. This is why you're getting the late points back. So I've given not only all the My IT Lab trainings as ways to get points back, but there was also on every Code Academy, there was also opportunities to do additional items to get late points back. Most of you have done the training, so that's why I show it here. And then this link would be a link to the actually showing me you did the training. And then this is the item you submitted late that you want to get the late points back, okay? And then this is the comment I will make when I've gone back in here and looked at and then upgraded your score for this. Okay, so item you've done that gets you the late points, proof that you've done it, the item you've submitted late, and then give me a column for my comment. Okay, so once you do this, place it into the Share with Rio, then just send me the link. Now some students are actually, when they submit the late work into Canvas, they're also in their comment area giving me their late work link. That's fine as well. So you can either send it to me directly or you can put it in your Canvas when you submit late work. Okay? All right, so hopefully that's a little more clear for that topic. But one other thing that came up that somebody asked me, they said, if I don't use any of these late points returned, can I use them for other things? Like, could I use it in lieu of an assignment? And the answer is no, and I don't do extra credit. What I really do is I want you to do all the work for our course. Okay, so, but let me show you how you might use this in a way. Okay, so first, now that I've said that I don't give extra credit, I give you the opportunity to get late points back. And if you don't use them, you can't use them for something else. Okay, but I could see the following situation. Okay, so let's come back here. So this is, by the way, the student view. This is the view that you see. And the first thing I want you to know is that, by the way, and hopefully you remember this, you can ask Canvas to show me the score I would have in this class if I made up work or got a higher score, right? So let's just run through the idea of late work, right? So you did the work, you did it all completely, and I graded you here, which, by the way, there is a comment here as well, and generally I've told you on that comment 25% off, late work, whatever. So then you would use your late points returned for one of your items. You would send it to me, okay, and I'm just walking through the scenario. And then what I will do is give you those late points back. So that's how that would work. Okay, so the other way you might do this, and this is a fairly common one too, is let's say you had done discussion, like I always have you write, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed on the writing, I've been a little more strict about making sure those main posts are 150 words, and you at least need to have some kind of substantive comment on there. So let's say in this scenario you didn't turn it in late, but you just didn't get all the points. And then here's what I've had a couple students do. They're like, well, I'll go in and do a little more writing so I get the rest of those points back. And that's great, but now if you ask me to regrade, it's late. So I would discount that 25% from whatever, and I regrade the whole item. Okay, so in this case, this would be another scenario where you increase, you fix whatever it is, you whatever it was you got decreased, right? And again, this may or may not be late work. It might just be something you missed on the assignment. And then you could use that, again, late points returned, because you have some training, I'm guessing most of you do, in order to ask me to late grade that and get full points, not late grade it, but upgrade it, grade it again. But remember, the key to that topic, and let's see that you got this, the key to that topic right there is the fact that if you fix whatever it was you got wrong and you've asked me to grade it, that's considered late grade. And sometimes you may not want to because you won't get any more points. But in this case, if you're trying to up your grade, then you may want to, because you may use those items to help your grade. Okay? Clear? I hope that is clear. So the other thing about this putting in your grades thing is the what if scenario. So you can tell as we get further down into the class, right, how this stuff affects the bottom line score on your grade. Wow. Oh, that was a mistake. I was like, what is that percentage? So also note, I do not grade attendance. It's not part of your score. And you can tell that because over here, attendance is 0%. Okay. And these My IT Lab have a big impact on your grade, as does the chapter final, as does everything. And often people ask me, well, if I'm really behind, how do I get caught up? And my suggestion is start with the assessments, do the lab test, do the chapter quizzes, classwork, and then the hands-on. That's my suggestion for the process of getting caught up, but you can do it however you want. Okay, hopefully that cleared up anything that you might have about there. So the other topic, and man, this has been a pain for me this semester, and there's been various reasons on our side why. So first, let me tell you what this is that there's a program from Microsoft, and I think in the past lectures I may have called it DreamSpark, and it's a free program. It's a program that Microsoft gives to students to allow them to get, not necessarily Office, because you get that through your campus email, but you can get Microsoft Access, which you're going to need. And I've been asking, matter of fact, the classwork you just all completed had that question in there, and many of you did not have it, and you were hoping to get it. If you're on a Mac, I've said this before, you're going to have to do a couple other things like install VirtualBox, install Windows, and then install Access. So the guy who sets this up on our side resent the invites this a couple weeks ago from the day of this video. And some of you need to check your junk mail folder to see if it's in there, and some of you didn't get it. So I'm meeting with them on Monday to get clarification on how we can get this set up for you guys and gals, because again, if you're now, this is really for Microsoft Access. This is your last lab test coming at you. And this is the one that creates a little bit of a challenge because you're going to actually have to come find Access, or if you're going to install it on your Mac, definitely say start a couple weeks ahead just to make sure you can work through any issues that you have for that. So I wanted to give you an update on that. It's just been one of those semesters. They had a problem on their side. I submitted them back in February. They said they set them up, but I didn't ever see it. I tried to get in myself. I couldn't. It just became a pain. So I'm hoping that next week I have a better answer as far as you all getting the email so that you can get in. Because once you get the email, then you have to complete the registration. There's a link on there. And then once you're in, then you can download through their system for free Microsoft Access, Microsoft Windows. VirtualBox, again, this is for the Mac, is free. You can just go get that out on the web. So a little more to come on that one. Probably give you an email as I update that. Another good reason to be on class chat. Okay, I'm actually running towards the end here a little longer than I normally go, but next semester, let me give you a shout out for 2 classes I am teaching. I'm teaching online CIT82, which is really it's a survey class for the web. We cover a lot of topics related to how the web works, how to develop for the web, a lot of understanding different terms and what they mean, some more coding. So if you like the Code Academy, you would get more in there. And then just really not all topics, major topics related to web technologies. So many students tell me they really enjoy this class, and even if you're not a web development major, think about taking it. It is a 9-week intensive, so it's a normal 18-week class taught in 9 weeks and online. The other class, and although this one is not necessarily let me just tell you I teach it, which is JavaScript. So you all are finishing up JavaScript in the next couple of weeks. So if you like this, I teach again online JavaScript for 18 weeks. And that class, you do need to have some HTML and CSS, but you've gotten some of that now. So it would be definitely, I think, a good challenge for anybody that's interested in this field and wants to level up. But I would tell you, if you're very interested, I would take my class before this, the 82, then take Todd McLeod's 85, Creating Websites, where you really dig in and learn how to build sites, and then come back and see me at 93. Anyway, pitching to you my shameless plugs. All right, I think that's all for me. Again, this is your week 13 kind of check in. Make sure have everything. You have everything you need to be successful. Let me know if you don't know. Hopefully you know that in our course, my schedule is listed, right? So if I come in and look at the syllabus, you will see a link to my schedule. So if you're ever wondering when I'm around campus, the link to my schedule is right here. So you can find me on campus, office hour on Monday and Wednesday at 11, and then I'm in the classroom, BE 127, from 12 from noon until 1:50 on those days. And by the way, you can come in and see me at any of those times if you want. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, it's kind of flipped. I have 11 o'clock CIT 15 and BE 127, and then I have an office hour. But you can come into that class if you it works as well. And then on Friday I have a virtual office hour, which really means I work from home. That's why I grade on Monday mornings or Friday mornings, but I grade actually every morning. You probably are used to that schedule by now. So if this schedule doesn't work for you, please reach out to me and let's see if we can work out a time that if you want to connect and talk to me about anything going on related to this class or just in general to connect. Your feedback is always enjoy talking to students about just connecting with them. The online students, often I don't get to know you as well as the students in the classroom. So I hope you all have a great break. Enjoy, and I will talk to you soon.